Hello students, welcome to Sreenath. In this video, we are going to discuss the third chapter, which is data handling from CBSE Class 7th Math. So, my name is Karthik Nune. We are creating videos on all chapters on all subjects from class 6 to class 12. So, please do subscribe our channel. Also, like and share our videos. And don't forget to subscribe Sreenath Academy YouTube channel. So, let's begin this video, students. So, what is the chapter name, students? That is data handling. So this is our present chapter name, students. Okay, so we'll just see what are the topics we are having, what are the concepts we are having in this present chapter. After that, we will discuss each topic in detail, students. We will solve some example problems also, students. Okay, so now we'll begin the overview. So this is the introduction, students. First, and next thing is we are going to study or learn about the collecting data and organization of data. And next thing is representative values. So after that, we are going to discuss about arithmetic mean, students. Later we are going to discuss about range, and next thing is about mode, and next thing is mode of large data, how to find mode whenever large data is given, and next thing is the median, students. So after that, we are going to discuss about bar graphs, use of bar graphs with a different purposes, and choosing a scale, how to choose a scale, and like the, students. And after that, we are going to discuss about double bar graph also. After that, we are going to discuss about the chance and probability, what is meant by chance and what is called as probability. That's it, students. Our chapter will be completed here. So this is the whole chapter we are going to study now, we are going to learn now, students. So finally we have completed our overview. Okay, students, in this video we are going to discuss about introduction and collecting data, organization of data, and representative values, students. So basically data handling is the chapter. So there is a table of values. So in our previous class, what we have studied about various types of data and how to collect data and how to tabulate data. So and put it in the form of bar graphs. So that is the thing you have learned to collect data. So these are the things we have learned, students. So by and recording and presentation of data and organization of data, so doing all these things will give some information about the prediction, students. So in this present chapter, there are in this table 3.1, there are temperatures of cities on a particular date, that is 26/2006. On this particular date, what are the temperatures, what is the maximum and minimum temperatures in particular cities like Ahmedabad, Amritsar, and this is the table about it. And here there is a football World Cup 2006. So in this football World Cup, so wow, who made how many goals, like that as table given. So here data showing weekly absentees in a class. So here there is a data showing how many students are absent weekly in a class. So this is the table representation, students. So now collecting data. So this is the very important, students. So collecting data. So we have collected some data. So now I will ask you some question. So what is the question? Tell us the city which had the highest maximum temperature during the year. So from seeing the table, can you tell the answer to this question? Tell us the city. What is the city which had the highest maximum temperature during the year? Can you tell the answer for it? No, you can't tell the answer for it. Why? Because here this table has only the temperature of cities on this date only, this particular day only, but it does not having the temperatures throughout the year. It is having only for particular day. So by using this data, we can't predict the maximum temperature through the maximum temperature of the city throughout the year. So before we collecting data, we have to think one thing. Before collecting data, we need to know what we would use for it, what we would use it for. So before collecting data, we have to know about it, students. Okay, so that is the thing about collecting data. So we can't get the answer for my question. So why? Because means this data is insufficient to answer that question, students. So before collecting data, we need to know what we would use it for. Suppose given below are few situations. You want to study the performance of your class in mathematics and performance of India in football or in a cricket. So these are the things. These are the usages, or these are the purposes you want. So first you have to know what is the purpose, for what purpose you are collecting the data. Then only you have to collect that type of data. But randomly collecting data and suddenly making questions, or suddenly wants to find something is somewhat foolishness. So first you have to know the purpose of finding data, collecting data. So these are, suppose if you want to find out the performance of your class in mathematics, so this is your purpose. Then what you have to do, you have to collect data according to this. So you have to collect the marks of all students, and not all the marks, mathematics subject marks of all students. Then you will get that. If you get that data, then you can assume what is the performance of your class in the mathematics. So if you know the purpose, then you can do it, students. So in that way, you have to collect the data, students, by knowing the purpose. Next thing is, you have collected the data, it's okay, but organization of data is somewhat important, students. Why? Because so Mrs. Nilma is there, she is a class teacher, and she wants to find how children had performed in English. So she want to know how children had performed in English. So she wrote down the marks like this, 23, 35, 48, 30, like that. But by writing this data like this, by writing this data like this, she can't get the perfect answer. It is somewhat confusing. So what happened? There is some friend to her, Nilma's colleague has helped her to represent the data in a table form. So now she has represented it like that. This is the roll number, and this is the name of the student, and the marks out of 50 here. So by doing this, it is simple to know who get the highest marks, and who is that person, and what is the roll number of this person. So this is very simple when compared to this. By writing like this, we can't find which is the greatest name, and we can't, even though if you know the greatest mark, we don't know who the student who got that marks. And if you know the student, it again takes some time to find the roll number of that student. So that is the problem, students. So further she has written in this form. Further again his colleague has given some more idea. So in this form, Neela was unable to know which student has got how many marks, but she wanted more. Deepika suggested another way to organize this data. So another friend has suggested another way to organize data. So how she has organized it? In this row, he has written the marks above 30, and this row she has written the marks below 30, so that it is very simple to know who are getting marks more than 30 and who are getting the marks below 30. So from this to she has came to this. So data is same, but the way of representing, but the way of organizing is different. So we have to collect data by first knowing the purpose. So what is the thing? Collecting data. So know the purpose. Know the purpose before collecting data. So you have to know the purpose before collecting the data. So in problems also, suppose if you are given some exercise problems, some example problems. So by studying the question, you will know the purpose. Then by knowing that purpose, by studying that question, you have to draw or construct collect the data like that. What is the next thing? After collecting the data, organization of data is important. Organization of data. So you have to organize in a simplified way, in a tabular form. So basically we use tables to represent many kinds of data. So tabular form, many kinds of data we come across are put in tabular form. So by using tabular form, we get many types of data. Okay, students, it is very simpler. So in our schools also, our progress reports and index pages in our notebooks, all these are written in tabular form. So this is one type of good good organization of data. Tabular form is one of the types of good organization of data, students. So after organizing data, you will get answers to your questions, or you can study some of the things from data, students. So next thing is representative values. So you might be aware of the time average. So we are using this term called average. So Isha spends on an average of about 5 hours daily for her studies. So there is a student who spends on an average of 5 hours. There is a word called average, and I want to show some more sentences. The average temperature at this time of the year is about 40 degrees Celsius. Here also the word average. The average age of the pupils in my class is 12 years. The average attendance of students, here also average. So we are using average word frequently in many statements, students. So now if you go to understand these exam statements, the average age of pupils in my class is 12 years, which means all the pupils in the class are having 12 years age. No, it's not the right thing. So many of them, or the average age is 12 years, but not all are having 12 years. So the average temperature at this time of the year is about 20 degrees Celsius, which means which is 40 degrees always? No, it may be greater than 40, it may be lower than 40. So Isha spends on average of about 5 hours daily for her studies, which means she continuously study 5 hours a day. Every day she will study 5 hours. No, some days she may study less than 5 hours. Some days she may study more than 5 hours. But it is the average value, students. So that is the thing, we use the average, and that is the meaning of that statement, students. So by average we understand that Isha usually studies for 5 hours. On some days she may study less than, on some days she may study more than, students. So finally, and one more thing is, thus we realize that average is a number that represents or shows the central tendency of a group of observations or data. So what does it say? Basically average will shows the central tendency of the group of data. So 5 hours is the maximum, 5 hours is the average of the study that student studies. She may study 4 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours, or for 7 hours, like that. So this is the central value, no? So that average is the central tendency of representing group of observation, students. So average is between the highest, and this is the highest, and this is the lowest. Average is between highest and lowest, students. Okay. So different forms of data need different forms of representative or central value to describe it. So we need different forms of data need different forms of representative. So we need different forms of representative values. So one such representative values is arithmetic mean. What it is? Arithmetic mean, students. So for representative or the central value to describe, we need different forms. One is arithmetic mean, mode, another is median, like that, students, and some other things also there. So that's what we are going to learn in the next video. So that's it for this video, students. We have studied about representative values, collecting data and organizing data. That's it, students. Hello, students. We will going to discuss arithmetic mean and range and mode of large data, and about median in this present video, students. Okay, so we have start our video discussion with arithmetic mean, students. What it is? Arithmetic. So we have familiar with the word called, what it is, students? Average. So we always use the word called average on many times, students. So we will now discuss about what is arithmetic mean means. So suppose I will give you a question. Suppose there are two vessels, so containing 20 liters and 50 liters of vessels respectively. So there are two vessels which are containing 20 liters and 60 liters of milk respectively. Then what is the amount that each vessel would have if both share the milk equally. Suppose there are two vessels now, and there are 20 liters on one vessel and 60 liters on another vessel. Suppose if that both vessels will have to share equally, then what is the amount of milk in each vessel? One condition is same amount of milk on both vessels. So what is that equal amount, and what is that amount of milk in one vessel? So if you want to do it, how you will do it? That is simply by 20 plus 60 by 2. So in one vessel there are 20 liters, in another vessel there are 60 liters. So there are two vessels. So divided by 2, it will give 80 by 2, which equal to 40 liters. So each vessel contains 40 liters. So this is 40 liters and this is 40 liters. Both are equal and they are equally shared. And totally how many 80 liters are the resultant now? That's what purpose also fulfilled. So this is the way, students. So basically using this example only, I want to tell you about arithmetic mean. So arithmetic mean, or simply write as AM, is nothing but, or mean. Arithmetic mean or mean is nothing but sum of all observations. Sum of all observations divided by number of observations. Number of observations. By doing this, students, we can get the arithmetic mean of observations. What is the thing? Sum of all observations by number of observations. By doing this, you will get the mean. What we have done in the previous class, we have added 20 plus 60. 20 liters in one vessel, 60 liters in another vessel. What we have done? We have summed the there are two observations, that is 20 liters and 60 liters. So we have added them. That is sum of observation divided by number of observations. So how many observations are there? Basically there are two values now. So one is 20 liters and another thing is 60 liters. So that we have written 2 in the denominator. Finally you get the answer now, students. So this is the mean, students. So in this way you have to find out the mean. Example: Ashish studies for 4 hours. So Ashish will study for 4 hours, 5 hours and 3 hours respectively on 3 consecutive days. Okay, students. So one day he will study 4 hours, the next day he will study 5 hours, the next day he will study 3 hours on 3 consecutive days. How many hours does he study daily on an average? So on average, how many hours he will or she will study daily? First day he will study 4, second day he will study 5, next day he will study 3. So what is the average study hours of Ashish per day? You will get this average or simply by finding the mean, that is sum of the observations. How many observations are there? 3 observations are there. 4, 5, 3. So we have to add 4 plus 5 plus 3 divided by how many observations are there? Number of observations. This is 1, 2, 3. There are 3 observations. So simply write denominator 3. So now 5 plus 4 how much? This is 5, this is 4. Now 5 plus 4 gives rise to 9 plus 3 divided by 3. That is called 9 plus 3 how much? That is 12 by 3. That is equal to how much? That will give rise to 12 divided by 3 is 4. So on an average, Ashish, who is she? He, Ashish will study 4 hours daily. 4 hours daily. Is he studying daily 4 hours? No. First day he has studied 4 hours. Next day he has studied 5 hours. And next day he has studied 3 hours. But what is the 4 hours is? This is the average value. Average value is always between the maximum and minimum value. So the maximum value is 5, minimum value is 3. So this is the average value. This we called as the arithmetic mean. So simply finding sum of the observations by number of observations, you will get the mean or average, students. Okay, students, next there is an example. A batsman scored the following number of runs in 6 innings. So there are how many innings? 6 innings, and each innings how much he has scored? In the first inning 36, second inning 35, third inning 50, fourth inning 46, fifth inning 60, sixth inning 55. So calculate the mean runs scored by in an inning. So these are the runs scored in 6 innings, but we want the average runs or the mean runs scored in each inning. For that we have to what to do? We have to find the mean. No, so mean is nothing but sum of observations, sum divided by number of observations, sum of observations by number of observations. So how many innings are there? 6 innings are there. So number of observations is 6. So in each inning how many runs? 36 plus 35 plus 50 plus 46 plus 60 plus 55. These are the total runs in the innings. Now we have to add all those students. Then how you will get the answer? Simply 50 plus 50. So 35 plus 35. So 36 plus 35, that is 71. Next 50 plus 55, it will give 105 plus 60 plus 40, it will give 106 divided by 6. This is my way of calculation, students. You can do your own way of calculation. So this will give how much? Was 71 plus 105 plus 106 gives 211. No, 211 by 6. So 211 by 71 gives 282 by 6. That answer is 47. So what is the average runs he is scoring in an inning? That is he is scoring 47 runs in an inning. But there are 36 runs also scored in some inning, and there are maximum of 60 runs scored in an inning also. So this is the middle one, this is the average one. Okay students, so this is about the mean, students. Okay, so where does the arithmetic mean lie? So basically arithmetic mean lies between the biggest mean, smallest. So arithmetic mean lies between the biggest and smallest, highest and lowest value, students. It lies in the middle of the biggest and middle of the biggest and smallest, middle of the highest and lowest, students. Okay, so we know we can find, suppose if you want to find the mean of 5 and 11, how you will find mean of 5 and 11? Mean of 5 and 11, it is so simple. No, just add 5 plus 11. How many observations? 2 observations by 2, it will give 16 by 2, that is equal to 8. So 8 is the mean of 5 and 11. So it is between 5 and 11. So it is between biggest and smallest. That's it, students. So in simple way we can find rational numbers also. Rational numbers in between rational numbers also in this way. Suppose there are mean of or rational numbers in between 1 by 2 and 1 by 4. What are those? That is 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4. And how many observations? 2 observations. That is equal to how much? That will be gives 3 by 8. No, like that you can find average values using the arithmetic mean, students. Okay, so by using this you will get average values. Next thing is the range, students. What is range? So basically if you know the difference between highest and lowest observations, gives us an idea of the spread of the observations. So the difference between highest and lowest, so highest and lowest, in between there will be mean. Now if you know the difference between highest and lowest, then you will know the how much spread there is observations for. Okay students, so range is nothing but highest minus lowest. Range is nothing but the difference between highest and lowest values, students. Okay, so by doing it, so you will get how much expanded the values around mean, how much they have spread out. You will get this, students. I will give you an example. The age in 10 years of the age in years of 10 teachers of a school are here. So there are 10 teachers. The ages of the 10 teachers are given here. So what is the age of the oldest teacher and that of the youngest teacher? From this you have to find the age of the oldest teacher. So oldest teacher is having a high age. So who is high here? Here 54 is the high, students. So first what we can do is we have to arrange them in ascending order. So if you arrange in ascending order, it will looks like this, students. And finding from this you can easily find who is oldest. So 50 years, 54 years teacher is the oldest teacher. And who is the youngest teacher? 23 years teacher is the youngest teacher. Okay students, once we have find out the highest and oldest students, now if you want to find the range, that is oldest teacher minus youngest teacher. The age of oldest teacher is 54 and the age of youngest teacher is 23. So by subtracting it, it will get 31 years. So that range is 31 years. Difference from highest to lowest. And now if you find out the mean, what is the mean? If you add all those years and divide by how many observations, there are 10 observations. So you will get 35 years. So 35 years is the mean students. So 35 years is the mean students. There are highest and lowest values. From highest to lowest, there are about 31 years of gap. 31 years of gap. Around 35, they have spread it out around 35. So this side some 15, this side some 15, like that students. So this is the thing about range students. Range is simply highest minus lowest. If you want to know, first arrange the observations in ascending order, then you will find the highest and lowest, then you can find the range students. Mean means simply sum of the observations by number of observations students. Next thing is we are going to learn is mode. So what is the mode? So we know we have mean now to find everything. Then why we need mean? Mode, I am asking you one question students. Suppose there is a shopkeeper who has record of sales. So he is a shopkeeper who has shirts of different sizes, and which shirts are how many shirts are sold in a week. So 90 centimeters shirts has sold 8, and 95 centimeters shirts has sold 22, 100 centimeters shirts has sold 32, and how total shirts are 105. So if what he have to do, so he have to buy new shirts, and those shirts will be easily those shirts have to be sold frequently or sold. Those shirts have to be sold easily in a short time. For that, he have to select which size shirts are easily sold by me, like that. So which shirt sizes to kept in stock. So which size shirts are solding rapidly, then that size shirts you have to kept in stock now. So for this, if he find the mean, what happens? Mean of the total shirts sold is equal to total number of shirts sold, that is 105 shirts. And how many different sizes? There are 5 different sizes now, so that will give the 21. But is there 21? Is there 21 centimeter shirt? If you clearly look at the shirt sizes, is there 21? There is no 21 size shirt students. So in this case, mean is not useful. Mean will not help us. So what is the answer to his question? How he can know which shirts he have to kept in stock? So one more example is also there. So how he will know is basically here he needs the mode. What is meant by mode is the mode of a set of observations is the observation that occurs most often. So if you want the mode of observations, that mode is the observation that occurs most often. So which is the observation which is occurring most times, many times, that is the mode. Suppose 90 centimeters is occurring 8 times, 95 centimeters is occurring 22 times, 100 centimeters is occurring 32 times, 105 centimeters is occurring 37 times, 110 centimeters is occurring 6 times. Then which is the shirt size which is occurring many times? That is 32, which is 37 times 105 centimeters shirt has sold out. So he have to kept in stock that 105 centimeter size shirt. So this is the mode. So by doing the mode, he can get the answer to his question. So he has to kept in stock about the 105 centimeters, and if you want, he can kept in stock 100 centimeters also. So why? Because they also repeated 32 times now, like that. So the owner of a ready-made dress shopper says the most popular size of dress I sell in the sell is the 90 centimeters. So he is also telling that the most popular size of the shirt I am selling is 90 centimeter size, which means he is selling other shirts also, but 90 centimeter size shirt is selling more, sold out more rapidly. He is solding out more rapidly. So that 90 centimeters is the mode, which means mode is nothing but the which occurring more times, which occurring more times. That's it, students. Now we will do some examples. So mode is nothing but which observation occurring many times. That is the mode, students. Suppose find the mode of the given set of numbers. So these are the set of numbers, and what is the mode of these observations? Let's see. 1 is repeated 3 times, 2 is repeated 4 times, 4 is repeated just 2 times, 3 is 1 time. So what is the mode? Here the mode is 2. Mode is 2. Why means why it has repeated how many times? 2 has repeated 4 times. Repeated 4 times. No. So which observation is repeating more times, that we call as the mode, students. So now mode of large data. So if they have given 10 observations, you can easily find mode. But if they have given large data, how you have to find the mode? So for that we have a trick, students. That is the thing of tally, using tally bars. So suppose here is the example for it. Following are the margins of victory in the football matches of a league. So these are the victories of a football match in a league. What are the margins? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these are the margins. Okay, there are 6 margins now. And at the first, what happened? At first margin, they have got victory. At next time, they have got victory at third margin. After that, they have got victory at second margin. Like that, this is the observations of all data. So first you have to write the margins of the victory, and you have to see first victory is at margin 1. You have to draw a bar like this. Next victory is at third margin, so you have to draw a bar like this. Next victory is at second margin, you have to draw mark like this. Next is 5. Next is again 1. So whenever 1 is repeated, you have to draw another bar like that. So after completing 4 bars, you have to draw a cross bar like this, which means this gives us the total of. So whenever we see this complete thing, it shows you that it has 5. Its number is 5. So this is 5, this is 5, simply 10, and this is 14. So the value is simply 14. You have to write number of matches. So by simply doing so, you will get. So which is the margins of victory? In which margin they get more number of victories means simply by seeing this tally bars you can find. So this is having 10 plus 4, 14. So this is the highest one. So by using this, you can easily find which is occurring more oftenly, which is having high frequency, which is occurring more times. So for larger data, you have to construct this type of tally bar, students. Now find the mode of the numbers. These numbers, if you want to find the mode, here 5 is 3 times, 2 is 3 times. So 2 and 5 are both occur 3 times. So 2 and 5 are the modes of the data. In this way, you have to continue for more, find it for mode, students. So we have mean and modian. So mode. So we have all sufficient data. We know we need not anything others. You may think like that, but that is not the true, student. We have to decide upon number of chapatis needed for 25 people. Number of chapatis needed for 25 people called for a feast. So basically the first person will eat 2, second person will eat 3, third person will eat 2. So this is the data of 25 persons. So if you want to find out the how many number, how decide upon number of chapatis needed for 25 people, then if you find the mode of this data, that is 2 chapatis, but that is not the correct answer, students. So if you just simply do 2 chapatis, they will be not sufficient to anyone. So that is the not correct answer. So 2 chapatis per person, then you will want just 50 chapatis only, but this is not the correct way. It has not that much of sense. Suppose if you find out the mean, in this way also you didn't get correct answer, students. So one more thing. So if you What about thing? We need to find out the height of a door near our house. In our house, we have to find out the height of the door. For that, so how to find it? Suppose we have 5 children and 4 adults using the door, and height of each 5 children is around 135 centimeters, and the height of, so then what is the mode? Basically there are 5 children and 4 adults. The height of 5 children is around 135 centimeters. No, if you find a mode, what it will give? It will give there are 5, it repeats 5 times. No, then the door height will be 135 centimeters. But whenever the adult is entering into the, it will be very tough. So in this situation also, mode is not helpful to us. So we require another representative to thing students, that form students. That is nothing but median. What it is? Median. So we require median students. Suppose there is a group of 17 students and whose heights are like these students. That games teacher wants to divide class into 2 groups, so that each group, so there are 17 students, she wants to divide each of them into 2 groups. So how she wants to divide it is so that each group has equal number of students. So equal number of students in both groups. This is the purpose she is wanting. So one group has students with height lesser than a particular height. So she wants suppose in this group she wants some height around, she wants a, suppose there is a x, let us assume. So she wants all the persons in these groups are lesser than x, and she wants in this group all the persons will have height greater than x. Greater than x. Like that she wants to divide it. So suppose if you assume 15 centimeters. So let x is equal to 1.5 centimeters. She wants in this group all the persons will have lesser than 1.5, that is 113, 101, 90, like that. In this all are having above 115, that is 117, 130, like that. So this group must have now heights greater than this number. This group must have heights less than this number. Like that, she wants to divide into 17 students into 2 equal groups. In that case, if you find the mean, it will give 113.5. But doing this, you don't get equal number of students. So you will get 7 and 10 numbers. 7 numbers on one group, 10 numbers on another group. So that is not the perfect number. That is not the x value. If suppose she wants to find mode, then 115 is the most occurring word. So doing this also you will get not perfect answer. I have written 115 just for your understanding only. So mean is not working, mode is also not working. By doing mode, you will get 7 children. So in this also you will get 7 children and 10 children on one, 10 children on another group. So it is not also requiring our purpose. So what we have to do? In this case, we have to find out the median. So what is the median? Median is the middle observation, middle value in the data, middle value in data. Median is nothing but the middle value in the data, students. If you find the middle value in the data, then you will equally distribute it. So from the figure, value 115, because this value divides the students into 2 equal groups of 8. Okay, students. So 115 is the middle. So this is the correct answer, students. So 115 is the median. What is the median? That is 115, which is the middle of these all. There are 106. There 115 is the median, students. So which is the middle value of all the data. So by doing so, you will get 8 numbers here and 8 numbers here, like that. So we require median for first. What we have to do is we have to arrange them in ascending or descending order. Next thing, you have to find the middle term, students. If there is odd number, the finding mid is very easy, students. So now we'll do some example. Find the median of the data. We have to find the median of this data. What we have to do? First thing is ascending order or descending order. So what is the smallest number here? That is 17. Up next there is 18. Up next there is 24. Up next there is 25. Up next there is 35. Up next there is 36, 46. So this is the increasing order of the whole data. Now what we have to do, we have to pick up the middle number. We have to pick up the middle number, students. So this is the middle number, middle of the data. So we call this as the median. Median is 25. Middle value in the data is the median, students. That's it, students. In this way you have to do. So I think we have understand about mean, median and mode. So we have completed these 3 topics in this present video studio, students. Hello students, we are going to discuss use of bar graphs with a different purpose and choosing a scale, and we're going to discuss drawing double bar graphs, and we're going to discuss about chance and probability. So these are things we are going to discuss now in this video, students. So beginning from the use of bar graphs with a different purpose, students. So in the previous year, which means in the 6th class, we have studied how information is collected and how information is tabulated, and we have, if you want a visual representation, we have drawn the bar graphs or the pictographs like that, students. So bar graphs make deductions about the data. So by using bar graphs, you will get deductions easily from your data, students. So now if you want to draw a bar graph, and we have to choose a scale for it. Choosing a scale is somewhat important in drawing bar graph, students. Bar graphs is like that, no, students, we already know. So we know that a bar graph is representation of numbers using bars of uniform width. We know it. What we know that is bar graph is representation of numbers using bars of uniform width. If you clearly see these bars are having uniform width. Okay, students, and in the this side, which we call as in the y-axis, this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. In this side, we have to choose the scale. So in this side, the width is same. So what happens? So width and the lengths of the bars depend upon the frequency and the scale you have chosen. So this width is uniform, but this length, for this length, we have to choose a scale by depending upon the frequency, by depending upon the highest value. Okay, students. So now we will understand it by doing some examples, students. Before that, if our observations, if observations for unit length, for 1 unit length, we can consider 10 observations, or we may consider 100 observations, or we may consider 1000 observations also. Why? Because means depending upon the frequency of the data, students. So by doing examples, we will get more knowledge. So 200 students of 6th and 7th class were asked to name their favorite colors. So how many students? 200 students are there. Okay, students. So as to decide upon what should be the color of their school building, the results are shown in the bingo and the graph table, students. So if you see what is the favorite color, red, green, blue, yellow and orange are the favorite colors. So we are representing those in the as the width each side, x side. So number of students, total number of students are 200. So what is the maximum requirement we require is 200. We have to represent on the scale the maximum value is 200. So in the y-axis, we have to take the starting from 0, we have to take 200 as the maximum thing. So if you take 1 unit is equal to one student, then starting from 0 to 200 there will be large number of numbers. So for unit, taking 1 is not good. Suppose if you take 1 unit equal to 10, so what happens? It will goes on very much increasing also. So before there are 200 students, no. So basically in the 200 students, 43 students are red and 19 students are green, 55 students are blue, 49 students are yellow, 34 students are orange. So we want to represent these numbers on the graph, no. So we don't require 200, but we require these numbers to represent. So if you clearly observe, what is the maximum number in the data? The maximum number we have to represent is 55. So we have to represent 55 only. Even though there are 200 students, we don't require 200. We require 55 only. So the nearest number to 55 is 60. So we can take 60 as the margin of the scale. So if you take 1 unit equal to 1, student or one thing, it will somewhat difficult. So we can take, if you take 1 unit equal to 10, it is somewhat reasonable. So if you take 1 unit equal to 10, for 1 unit it will becomes 10, next unit it will becomes 20, next unit it will becomes 30, next unit it will becomes 40, next unit will becomes 50, next unit will become 60. So in this way you have to scale 1 unit equal to 10. So in this way it has taken given scale, and in this way you have to write here red, green, like that. All these are having same width, no? So you have to write red value is 43. So you have to draw this bar graph until here it is the 40, no? There will be 43 is here. So until you have to write the bar graph like that. Like that, if you are doing so, you will get bar graph like that. So by after drawing the bar graph, these are the questions you have to answer. So which is the most preferred color and which is the least preferred color? So seeing this, we can easily guess the answer, students. So what is the most preferred color? So what is the thing which is very highest bar is the most occurring thing. So that blue color is the most preferred color. And what is the least preferred? What is the least bar? So that is the green. So green color is the least preferred, students. So next, how many colors are there in all? So if you simply count all these things, you will get the total number of colors. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 colors only. So by simply doing these bar graphs, you will get answers quickly, students. So another example is there. Following data gives total marks out of 600. So there are out of 600, how many marks they are getting? That is the data, students. By 6 children, there are 6 children, they are getting total marks out of 600. So you have to choose a scale that maximum value is 600 from 0. So in the x-axis, how many? There are 6 students. Now you have to name 1, 2, 5, 2, 6. So you have to name every one student, and you have to draw a bar graphs according to suppose this, and you have to take 1 unit here, 1 unit equal to 100. Why? Because means if you take 1 unit equal to 10, so it will goes very increasing, goes on increasing. It is somewhat difficult. So by taking 1 unit equal to 100, so all are around 400 to 500 like that, no? So if you take 1 is equal to 100, it will be very simple. 300, 400, what it is thing, 400. I will show you graph on here. Simply by drawing this is the scale you have to select, students. And by simply seeing this, you can get who is getting the maximum marks. So simply who is getting, this person is getting the maximum marks, no? Simply by doing, you will get, students. Now we have completed about single graphs. How to draw double bar graphs? What is the reason for it? So whenever we need the comparison, we need double graphs. We need double graphs. Suppose Margate and Aberdeen. So these two are the cities. So in these two cities, for 12 months, for each average hours of sunshine for 12 months values are given. So we have to compare both these things. So for that, by drawing individual bar graphs, you could get answer questions like, so by drawing individual graph, you will get the answer in which month does each city has maximum sunlight. You can get answer for this, or we can get answer by for this. But in a particular month, which city has more sunshine? If I ask you this question, you can't. So in particular month, that is in suppose March month, or suppose in May month, so which city has get maximum of sunshine? So for that, you have to draw two graphs and you have to compare both these things. So simply by doing drawing two graphs, if you draw side by side double graphs, it will be very easy to compare. So we have to draw double graphs like these, students. Okay. So on the x-axis, on itself, you have to draw double graphs like this, and a city is represented with white and another city is represented with dark color, students. And while choosing the scale, what are the values you are having? You know what is the frequency of the values. So by seeing the frequency of values in both the cities, so you have to see the frequency of values in this, you have to see the frequency of this. So considering both these values frequency, we have to take the scale. So here scale is 1 unit equal to 1 hour of sunshine. Why? Because means here the maximum value is around this 8 is the maximum hours of sunshine. So here also the maximum is around at 6 and 6 and half like that, no? So it is also nearer to 8. So by taking 8 is the maximum, no? So we have to take a scale from 0 to 8 hours. By doing it simply, you can get answer to the questions. So what are the questions? In particular month, which city has more sunshine hours? And we need to compare the average hours of both cities. So similar to it, there is another example, students. Now I want to explain it. A mathematics teacher wants to see whether the new technique of teaching she applied after quarterly test was effective or not. She applied a new technique and she wants to know whether the new technique of teaching is helpful or not. So she takes the scores of the 5 weakest children. She takes the scores of the 5 weakest. These are the weakest children in the quarterly test out of 25 marks and in the half yearly test. So we have used that. She has used that new technique after quarterly, in between half yearly. So she has taken the quarterly marks and half yearly marks. So there must be a dramatic change, from quarterly to half yearly, so that only his technique will be effective. So she wants to compare the marks of quarterly and half yearly. So she have to draw a double bar graph like this, and the maximum marks are here is about 25 only. So 25, and each has taken 5 marks. 1 unit is 5 marks. So by comparing this, she can find out, students. So by seeing the double graphs, there is a drastic change in between these two things. That is for Ashish. So Ashish has drastic change. He has increased 5 marks. And Kavya is also having maximum. She is also increased 4 marks. But this is having 3 marks, like that. So there is drastic increase here. So she draws the adjoining double bar graph and finds a marked improvements in the most of the students. The teacher decides that she could continue to use the new technique of teaching. Can you think of few more examples where we could use the double graphs? So give me some examples where we can use double graph, students, like that. So that is about the double graph, students. Now we are discussing about chance. So we often use the word called chance. So there is no chance for rainfall today. We use there in that statement. And we also use it is quite probable that India will win the match. India will win the World Cup. It is quite probable. So these two words we will use in our day-to-day life. So consider these statements. The sun coming up from the west. The sun coming up from west, it is highly impossible. An ant growing to 3 meters height. Does ant grows to 3 meters height? It is also highly impossible. If you take a circle with a larger area, then its radius will also be larger. So it has some probability. So it is probable. It has a chance. India winning the next test series. So India may win or lose. Both are possible things. So if you're considering these two are impossible things, but there is a chance for remaining. So there is a chance or probability for their actions to be done. So this is the thing where we use chance and probability. In some cases it is highly impossible, but in some cases there is possible. Whenever there is possibility, we use the word called there is a chance, or we use a word called there is a probability, students. Now we will discuss about chance. Suppose if you take a coin and toss it. So you have to make how many number of toss you want, you can toss, and find just before tossing the coin, make some prediction. Before I am going to toss, I have a prediction that it will gives me the head. Suppose you have to write here head, and after you have to toss, suppose what is the outcome? Does it gives the head after tossing or tail? What is the outcome? You have to write here. So in that way, doing this for 25 outcomes, for 25 trials, the outcomes are like this. So by seeing these observations, have you any idea of, you can predict any much of data that next time most probably in most cases head will be formed, or most cases tail will be formed? We can't get any idea. Even though if you further increase this also, we didn't get any prediction. If you observe if you find the mode also, sometimes if head toss is increased, but there is still no probability for it, students. So it is very difficult for a tossing coin to predict what is the outcome. But what are the outcomes means there will be tossing a coin. So what are the chances means there are two chances. One is head or another is tail, and these both these head or outcomes are equally probable. Head has a probability of 1/2, tail is also having the probability of 1/2. So considering the chance, considering if you are thinking about the chance only, there may be chance for head, there may be chance for tail. So whether head is having more chance or whether tail is having more chance, both are having equal chance, students. In the same case, consider a die. So it has 6 faces now, so it gives 6 values. So doing the same, repeating this type of experiment for die also, you don't get the which has the most chance. We don't tell, you can't tell, students. So that is about the, so if you do like that, so number on the die like is 1, 2 and tally marks. So how many times 1 has repeated, you have to write like that, and after that you have to number of times it occurred, you have to suppose it 3 times occur, 3 or 4. If you see this also, you can say that there is a chance from 1 to 6, but you can't give that 2 has more chance or 5, 6 has more chance. You can't tell like that. That is the thing, students. Okay, next thing is about probability. So in the case of tossing a coin, the probability is for head it is 1/2, for tail also it is 1/2. In the case of what it is, in the case of doing the experiment for die, and each phase has probability of 1/6 and equal probability, students. So whenever there is a chance or a possibility or a probability for an event occur, probability, then the value of probability is 1, students. If there is no possibility, no probability, no probability, then the value is 0, students. And in the case of toss, head and toss both are having equal probability, that's why it is 1/2. In the case of die, each phase has equal probability, that is 1/6 for that, students. Okay, so we will study more and more about the probability in the higher classes, students. So for now, just you have to remember is that tossing a head coin has a probability of 1/2 and 1 by equal probability. Die has probability of 1/6, like that, students. So in many cases there is a chance, for head or tail, or chance for die, like that, students. So that's it, students. Our chapter is completed. Now we will discuss about the summary. Okay, students, our chapter is data handling. So our first thing is, before collecting data, we have to know the purpose for what we have to collect data. After that, we have to collecting the data. Organization of data is very important, so that only our work will be more easy. So for representative values, we require arithmetic mean, mode, or median. So what is arithmetic mean is? Arithmetic mean is nothing but sum of all observations by number of observations, students. Okay, it is an average value, and arithmetic mean is always lies between the middle, which is between the biggest and smallest value and highest and lowest value, students. Next thing is range. Range is nothing but the difference between the highest value and the lowest value. So by finding the range, you can know how the observations are spread out. Next thing is about the mode, students. Mode is nothing but the which observation is occurring many times, which observation is having more frequency. So that is the mode, students. Next thing is median. Median is nothing but the middle value in the data, students. So if you have to write the data in ascending order or descending order, and you have to find the middle one. So the middle value in the data is the median, students. Next thing is use of bar graphs, students. So we will use bar graphs to get information very easily. So while using bar graphs, we have to choose a scale, students. So that choosing a scale depends upon the maximum value. What does it is? Choosing a scale depends upon the maximum value and frequency of values. What it is? Frequency of values. So by observing these two values of the data, you have to take one unit length equal to 10 or 100 or 1000 like that, or 5 or anything like that, depending upon the maximum value and the frequency of the value, students. Okay, so in that way we have written bar graph, students. After that, double graphs. When we need double graphs means whenever we have to compare two things or two values, we need bar graph. So by writing single graphs, drawing single graphs, it will become somewhat complicated. So by drawing double graphs, it will be more easy to compare two events. Suppose in the two cities, we have to compare that maximum temperature in a particular month. So for that, if you draw a double bar graph for the both things, it will be very easy. Next thing is, students, about chance and probability. So if the event or situation is 100% impossible, there is no chance or there is probability. If there is any possibility, then we say the word called chance or possibility, then we say that there is a chance or probability. Chance, by tossing a coin, you will see that there is a chance for head and tail. How much chance for head and how much chance for tail? There is equal chance for head and tail. And in the same case, by throwing a die, there is a chance for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 6 have chances. How much chance? All are having some equal chances. But is there any chance for 0 on the die? No, there is no chance for 0. But there is a chance for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is there any chance for head and tail at a time in a tail? There is no chance for it also, students. That is about the chance, students. We can get by doing it by tally marks also, students. Next thing is the probability. So whenever there is no possibility of occurring of any event, then probability is equal to 0, students. Whenever there is a chance or possibility, then we call that probability value is 1. In the case of tossing a coin, the probability of head and tail are equal, that is 1/2, equal probability. In the case of throwing a die, the probability of each number, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all are having equal probability, that is 1/6. But in some cases there is unequal probability. Suppose there is a bag, it has having 9 red balls plus 9 red balls. We have to pick one ball. So which has the maximum probability? That red ball has the maximum probability. In this case, there is no equal probability. Red ball has the maximum probability. Why? Because there are red balls are many red balls. So that's it, students. Our chapter is completed. Our summary is also completed, students. So don't forget to subscribe Sreenath Academy. Also like and share our videos. Follow on Instagram and join our Telegram channels. So have a nice day, students. Keep smiling. Bye bye.